Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D. Barrow, and we are here to discuss the best fiction of all time. All right, there's only one. One Piece! Chapter 1181. I hope all of you are having a good one, however you catch this, whenever you catch this. Now, truthfully, between me, you, and the upload bar, I'm personally a little late to getting into this by my own standards, all right? What can I say, all right? It's a rest day. Your boy wants to take it for advantage. But this chapter that we got, it isn't, again, like an insanely packed chapter. You know, it's not like busting out the seams with, different lore materials and even like the cover. No, nothing like that. The cover for this chapter is a carrot jumping across some panda alligators or something. I'm not really sure what Oda was thinking about when he did that. And the title for this chapter is going to be Gods and Devils. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the chapter alone had me hyped. Hey, chapter alone had me hyped. We are going to be getting directly into this chapter. Try to leave a like and subscribe if you can. Apparently this helps, makes more if you guys do it. So if you can, I'd fuck with it. I really would. We open this chapter, no surprise at all. Directly back where we were, last chapter, for those who are just a little kind of confused. For those who are a little confused, we got a bit of a standoff between Imu and Loki to end 1180. So for this chapter, shockingly enough, I didn't think that we'd get as much combat as we did, but we got a lot of combat. Loki, he finds a way to just get like the best. He finds a way to bring some different level out of Imu. I do think that is due to their obvious connection in the past with the Needhog and even like Harold and Loki. Like there are a lot of pieces of Imu's story that just connect with Loki. But I mean, honestly, I didn't think that these two would have to fucking gripe against one another. They swing off at each other, right? And they try to just basically they exchange a couple words, right? And Loki learns that Imu, in fact, was the person who corrupted Harold, right? Upon learning this, he reflects on his father and he launches an attack with Ragnir called Ragna Izu Michi. Now, this attack did look massive. It did take all of a lightning bolt formed from Loki, right, which shot across Elbaf's sky to essentially be let off, right? It's an insane attack. But Imu seems to use some kind of defensive demon to create a barrier where this space and to create a barrier where it's the demon, a little bit of space, and then Ragnir in the attack. So I don't know exactly what the capabilities of their omens are, but it definitely seems like there are defensive and offensive capabilities for not only the demons that come out of this sword, but the omens that I think they're attached to. And I think we're going to be getting a little bit into those omens later. Loki asks very plainly, right, like, what kind of attacks are you using? Like, what is this? Like, what's the black flames? Like what's going on? Like, what is the purpose of your power, right? Like, what is the purpose of your power, right? And like, again, they're kind of trying to get the one up on one another. Imu finds a way to use giantification on herself. Imu finds a way to use giantification, and their weapon changes multiple times throughout this chapter. It goes from the simple pole arm after the giantification to like this massive mace kind of structure, which is like, wow. Like that would have caught me the fuck off guard, honestly. But this is like a very interesting layout for Imu's abilities. They say that man's quest for power, right? It leads them normally to corruption, right? In their corruption, right, all it takes is a covenant. And they show, examples of like, Dorian Broggy, heralds to kind of like hammer these messages home. And finally it says, and finally, they say, like this unholy trinity, it forms a dominion. And this dominion, it allows for the strength boost, for the regeneration, etc. Everything that we were seeing on God Valley, basically, with rocks. This, it seems like the powers that can be delivered from Emu also, like, they're a lot more flimsy, if like, as it does seem like they are a lot more hands-on than just like the automatic, like, oh, omnipresent, like she senses it because they're sensing it. Like, no, it definitely seems like the more it definitely seems like the more potent parts of Emu's sharing ability kind of can't be shared unless you are going to completely devote yourself entirely to Emu. I think that's just going to play a part later, whether that be the Gorosei or, maybe one of the Straw Hats. There's definitely going to be a fate of heart kind of situation with one of these Dambi Reverses. I just think it's kind of in the books, like people being on quest for power and them willingly or unwillingly making these covenants and choosing corruption, choosing the dominions, right? I don't know, just small things I think about sometimes wholeheartedly. It seems like that creates again a system for a dominion, right? And if you really shorten that, a dominion, a Dami reversal, a Dami reversing the dominion, right? Or essentially just taking ownership of the dominion, technically, right? It's kind of interesting. I think it's big fares to Oda that he did include this somewhat really algebraic understanding of how Dami Reversi works. There has to be this perfect equation, and with this perfect equation, only in that can we see a dominion take form, a Dami Reversi, right? So that's just my small little thing on that. Emu asks if Loki would like these godly abilities, right? And he tries to hit him with an omen, and it essentially, like, Loki tanks it. Right now at this point, Loki has already been speed blitzed at least once, and truthfully, I didn't know that Emu was even capable of doing some of the shit that they do in this chapter. But they somersault around Loki, they create a massive sword, right, after the massive mace that they already created. And after this sword strike, Loki tries to, like, get his wits about him, and this nigga fucking, like, he no-sells. That's the best way to put it. He no-sells an offensive omen. And this surprises Emu for a little bit, and it only leaves like a very small second for Emu to react, right? I thought that was pretty cool. I actually like that a lot. So he tanks it, unlike he did last time. Interesting part about Emu, like, moving and reacting is they don't block it. They don't counter it. There isn't a lot of reaction time. And I do think that just like the Drums of Liberation, like the Fate of Heart, there were just small things I think Oda is giving us to where, like, oh no, like Emu can't be defeated. Like, if you catch them extremely off guard, maybe in an instant, like we've seen Toon Force do, you can land in a solid 1-2 blows on Emu. And honestly, from what we get from Loki, even at the end of this chapter, like, it's not some scrub shit. It's not like Loki's in there, like, struggling for his life. No, Loki seems to adapt to this battlefield fairly quickly, honestly, which is, again, I think that's very cool. I can see a lot of people taking a lot of problem with that, with Emu being the final villain, but I mean, honestly, even with Loki getting hit, how we got hit with that sword attack and then taking this omen, this is something I do want from an end villain ally. This is something I do want from an end game ally. Like we are supposed to be taking this guy into the final saga. I want to see you, I want to see you tank the sword attack. I want to see you overcome, the hypnosis gimmick. I don't feel like that's a lot to ask for. Honestly, I don't feel like it's a lot to fucking ask for. Loki, he exclaims that he doesn't want it, making Emu flee. And then he asks Emu the burning question, right? what is the difference between a god and a devil? And no, my apologies. I think Emu asks this question after Loki acknowledges that this power that, again, he says he doesn't want just sounds like a deal with the devil, right? And Emu asks, what's the difference between a god and a devil? Now, I think that this is also just a really unsettled piece of storytelling where Oda is letting us know Joy Boy, in this example that we will be flashing back to in a couple, I don't know, call me crazy, I think minimum no less than 50 chapters we are going to be getting into the Void Century. No less than 50 chapters, right? Maybe even like a little bit more, but when we get to this Void Century, I want to like just paint the picture here. Either Joy Boy is going to be a chaotic demon like that is running rampant on Earth, or he is going to be depicted as this kind of god figure. Now, realistically, Emu is probably going to be depicted as this kind of god figure, or that could obviously be flipped, but there is a very just simple question being asked here by Emu, and it's obvious how much weight it holds, right? Like this statement isn't Emu just asking Loki, it's Emu asking themselves, what is a devil? And what is a god? And what should I have to really expect with people like a Nika, right? Individuals like a Sengoku with the Buddha fruit, right? Like what is a god really? I mean, I'm getting reports that people are eating mythical god Zoan fruits, but the Zoan mythical god fruits are devil fruits. How could the power of a god come in something named a devil fruit? Like it's just the small things, and that's like very like 101 One Piece shit. But I like that Emu was taking it back to basics. Like they're stripping back everything. What exactly is a devil and what is a god? It's almost like, that Good Place plot twist where they found out that like heaven wasn't heaven all along. Heaven was just the underworld, and everybody's in the underworld. It's not like this like secret super club. It's like, no, all of you died, and that's it, and that's the end of it. There's no segregation. There is no separation, right? It's like one of those situations. What exactly separates Emu from Luffy, or Emu from Joy Boy? Like even stretching all the way to back then, what exactly is the separation? I don't think it's that few and far in between, and I genuinely believe that we're going to see a lot of aspects, maybe even in the world government, Joy Boy might display. Like he may have this just kind of unwavering thirst for land and conquering, or for authority, or some kind of stronghold on the world. These are all very plausible, right? I definitely think Emu is definitely mirroring whatever she's seen from Joy Boy. And I think that plays a very vital part into this comment about gods and devils. I don't think Emu sees himself as a devil at all. I think they just see themselves as like a force of nature, right? Almost as if, we refer to the Harley text as just like a forced god, right? Like that's what Emu deems themselves to be. And I definitely think in some of their actions, it definitely shows that, right? After Loki says, hey, he doesn't want to know the difference between a god and devil. He's not Dr. Phil. It's not his job to get all introspective and deep and shit, right? He says, the world doesn't wish for a dominion or domination, right? Nobody does. And Emu retorts, the world revels in a dominion. Isn't that right, Joy Boy? And we see a flashback to what it seems maybe like Emu and Joy Boy, like on the seas, like on the sails. I did theorize that they were probably Nakamar, maybe even like brothers or cousins, right? Like there's a very deep familial connection with Joy Boy and Emu. And I think us even getting the small breadcrumbs here, big fucking ups to Oda. Big ups to Oda on that, because I've never been more interested, quite literally in my fucking life, about what Emu used to do back in the day than I am right now. To be honest, the kind of delivery of this, with Emu being very exaggerated in his expression, and was flash cutting immediately to Luffy, where he's just like shoveling food, barely getting out full words, with his mouth just full of just multiple meats and fruits and cheeses, right? Fat Luffy is like in a small little chibi form and like in one of these panels. So it is a very comedic delivery, right? But if you really like think about what this means, kind of going back into that God and devil statement from Imu, what dominion did Joy Boy put on the world? And I think that's what the most important part of this chapter is. Did Joy Boy use the drums of liberation to create the new era of pirates? Did he set forth this new era of freedom? Is this dominion that we are currently residing in kind of like an Inception kind of situation, right? So if the world is just the natural world and everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, and hypothetically, if we're going to follow the terms of the Harley text, the first world had Nika, right? This world was, set into chaos and it destroyed itself, collapsing in on itself, etc., right? The second world with Joy Boy, it said that the fires of the war were spread out by the sun god. That can mean a lot of things, or it can simply mean that we are living inside of a bubble created by Joy Boy, which was thought into and put into reality from Nika, or the servant of Nika, servants plural, whatever, right? And then that reality that Joy Boy crafted through the actions of Nika, that led to Roger, that led to Shanks, Ace, Luffy, Garp, Dragon, people who are connected to the clan of the Half Moon. I think that is so fucking interesting. The idea that everything that we are experiencing in this world is only as a result of some kind of massive Dami reversi that Joy Boy did many, many years ago. Again, maybe alluding to the fact that Imu's power set might be a lot closer to Luffy's than we know right now, right? Oh, so fucking cool. So fucking cool. There are still a lot of pieces of this chapter, like Chopper, even like, the main characters like Zoro and Sanji. I really do want to see their further interactions with Imu. Realistically, Imu is going to be gunning for Usopp sooner or later, but I'm not going to hold you. This chapter, again, it's not like an insanely packed chapter, but even the small references to a past with Imu and Joy Boy, again, being like so casual and being like so colloquial with one another. It's very, very interesting. It also makes you think about that massive hat that Imu has, the size of Joy Boy, what that hat meant, where it came from, the purpose of it even being preserved. Because hypothetically, if a celestial dragon, some kind of Nimrod, finds himself just like failing upwards, and he catches himself in a Pangea castle, and he slips on a secret brick, and now he's inside this super secret room. I don't know why Imu would even take that chance unless it really either A, poses no threat at all, or B, it's just like a keepsake. Not even like a trophy, but it's like how you would keep up a picture of like your past uncle that you kind of barely remember. Like maybe that's the connection that we're supposed to be feeling with, again, Imu, somebody who's been around for a very long time. So a lot of their memory is distorted. They're probably remembering things incorrectly. It's definitely possible that Imu is an untrustworthy narrator, but they're the only narrator we really have for the Void Century. So I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to like really understand everything we exactly get with this story. And again, the idea of a dominion, what the fuck does that mean? What dominion did Joy Boy have the power to put on the world, right? Very cool. Very, very cool. Next we see Loki, acknowledges, Imu, and says that, you're not very focused on me. It doesn't seem like your eyes are set on me. You keep talking about Joy Boy. That's an obvious allusion to, that's obviously alluding to Luffy, right? I don't know if your eyes are really on the prize here, right? Loki, he kind of swats away Imu. Imu falls into an Elbaf cliffside, and Loki turns into his colossal dragon form, right? He goes back into his Needhog form, and he releases another Thorheim. It's kind of interesting how this chapter ends, because we've been talking about this very kind of way back when, the let me reminisce on the days kind of attitude Emu has had for this whole chapter. And we end this chapter with Emu like with a smile on their face saying, so it's true, you really have returned. And obviously in reference to Needhog and Loki, but I think it's kind of cool that Emu is, taking these challenges head on. Realistically in the next couple of chapters, we will see Emu go up against Gear 5 Luffy, maybe even 2 Gear 5 with Bonnie right there. We don't know the exact power level of Gear 5 right now. It could easily have an evolution or a blossom, like it did on Wano, right? Like there's a lot of things we can go from this fruit and Luffy's abilities, and again how that pairs with Emu's abilities. I think a lot of important things are in store. A lot of important things are in store with Emu's power set and Luffy's abilities. But I guess we'll just have to save that for another day. There is no break next week, which I think is actually very, very cool. Even this ending off this chapter right here, it started with action, it's ending with action. If we get a slower, more tranquilo, chapter next week, it's gonna make sense. It's definitely gonna make sense. I love it. I love this setting. I love the arc. Loki is easily one of the best allies that the Straw Hats have added to their roster in a very, very long time. Realistically, I think they will go the Yamato route. They will not be an official crewmate, but you're damn sure when the end game is calling, we need a massive wrecking ball the size of Loki will definitely come and run into the front line. So very, very good chapter. I think it definitely fleshed out Emu as a character. I love that, and I'm excited to see what more we can get from this Emu and Jorbo relationship. It's possible that they were fucking. Hey, we don't know what the fuck was going on between these two, but I will say your boy's entertained. All right, that is everything that your boy Cappy had for chapter 1181. One Piece is firing off on all cylinders. It can't miss. You can't fucking miss. I will be getting to my weekly world report and my official review for Collision. Some other stuff is gonna be tied up in there. You guys gotta keep your eyes out for that. All right. But I hope all of you have a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this, and as I always say, all right, you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.